My name is Sanan Ptah, student teacher of the master teacher, His Excellency, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, also known as Pa Nabab YAANANAN, YAANANAN. This shadow's reading is titled, Can the Devil be Reformed or Forgiven? 1. Will there ever be forgiveness for the evils, abuses, harm, murders done to the Nuwapian, or mercy or justice? 2. We will for now pretend to forgive, but we can never forget what you have done to our people. Never, ever. As for mercy, it is only deferment of sentence of justice until a later time. 3. In the case of Caucasians, their time has come. Yet not by our hands, but by Mother Nature herself. Niyat. And Sakhamutat. 4. Now their justice as before is falling upon the individuals guilty of such evil crimes as racism, and it is falling upon his and her own seed or kind. 5. Because each and every one of a kind is one flesh and blood and spirit, for they sprang from the same ancestral tree or origin. 6. Forgiveness is temporary transferment of guilt from the guilty one to the forgiver. 7. However, forgiveness does not free the guilty from their wrongdoings, because according to the laws of nature, the guilty ones must be held accountable for their wrongness personally, or the guilty one's seed or kind must suffer or be removed by nature for wrong acts that violate not laws made by man or religion, but nature itself. 8. Forgiveness would mean to take the guilt of someone upon self, and thereby to forgive becomes an accomplice of the guilty. 9. Therefore, their penalty or punishment is the same as the guilty. 10. But the forgiver's punishment comes before that of the guilty. As you see today, all other races who forgave the Caucasoids for the 6,000 years of evils, abuse, invading, land stealing, rape, enslavement, poisoning, murders, and so much more. All those in the race of people who forgave them and accepted them and welcomed them in their own countries, lands, homes, are now suffering great loss by nature in their lands. Any race that trusted him are now being betrayed by him, and the dying and Negroids who trusted him or claim they forgive him are now suffering at his hands. His system, his self-styled laws, and nature herself is on them. And they soon will not know which way to turn. If they reject their own nature, African, Nagaru, Negroids. His friendliness, smiles, promises, these acts are only temporary to convince others that you get along. So he can further use you as a tool or weapon to hurt others and bring guilt upon our race. And we have never harmed anyone but ourselves. No other race in nature can claim that the Negroids did them any harm. Not a one. Unless we are out of our own minds in the image of the beast, using our heads and hands with his mark in his evil services. 11. And because of this, his evils are being transferred onto our race, being called his Negroes or African Americans. We are becoming guilty world over, and even Mother Nature, our own mother. 12. But if we have mercy on them right now, their punishment and ours for being their servants is deferred until later, since the forgiver has taken it upon themselves by mixing their blood with the evil race. 13. However, the innocent paying the full price of the guilty race does not satisfy the laws of nature and justice, ma'at, because the innocent did not all commit the wrongness against others in nature. 14. The guilty race, the Canaanite, Kakasu, Caucasian himself, must finally take the punishment of guilt in full. Then and only then will the laws of Ma'at be satisfied. 15. Moreover, a mortal cannot forgive because he can't really forget what was done to his race and kind. So he can't forgive another mortal for some wrongness the culprit did to a third party. The only one who can show mercy is the victim themselves, because they suffered the hurt and harm. 16. This is what their Bible says they can expect for their evils to others. Malachi chapter 4 verse 1 through 4. That is, as it says, when Ray, the son, Zodak, Zehuti, comes with Pa-Mafguzet, the healing, sacred ash, Mount Horeb, as you know now is Serbit el-Khadim, or Hut Shil Nubt, house of gold. And then Joshua chapter 23 verses 5 through 8, and Pa-Huhi, your Neturu, will drive them, Canaanites, out of your way. Huhi, Yahweh, Ptah, will push them out from in front of you, and you will take possession of their land, Canaan, just as Yahweh, your Elohim, has promised you, Shasu, Israelites, only some of. Therefore, be very courageous to carefully obey and do all that is written in the Strong's number 5612, which is the Hebrew word sephir, roll or papyrus of Strong's number 8451, Hebrew word Torah, from Strong's number 3384, Yoror, which is a precept, statute, decalogue, law of Mus, Zehutimus, Happymus, Moshe, Moses, Musa, who became Adonai by mixing with Canaanites, without turning aside either to the right or the left. Be sure that you do not mingle with these nations, Canaanites, that are left with you, by not mentioning the names of their Elohim, nor causing anyone to administer a vow in their names. You must not serve them, and you must not bow down to them. You are to hold fast to Yahweh, Huhi, your Elohim, just as you have until now. But Pa-Shasu, the Israelites, did not obey, and they mixed with the Canaanite. Why they are no more. Acts chapter 7 verse 42 to 43. Romans chapter 1 verse 21 to 23. Ezekiel chapter 8 verses 9 through 12. Judges chapter 2 verse 11 through 13. Judge chapter 2 verse 18 to 22. The original Negroid Hebrews of Ham's sons, Shem, who was Hufu, mixed and lived with and trusted the children of Ham's son, who was cursed with leprosy. Canaan, father of 11 sons called Canaanites, who rebelled by their sick nature and turned to worship messengers of Satan as other Elohim, to become their God of today by many names. Now they deceive the whole world with their lies and deception. They became the devil's own seed. St. John chapter 8 verses 1 through 44. They turned on their last chance 2,000 years ago. St. Matthew's chapter 12 verse 22 to 32. St. Matthew's chapter 12 verse 43. St. Mark chapter 3 verse 22 to 26. St. Luke chapter 11 verses 14 to 26. So they were and are children of the devil, and will do every and anything to deceive you into trusting in them. They seek forgiveness from you by offering you some of his wealth, material things and physical things, only to deceive you. Trust them not. 17. You can show mercy, but that won't get them forgiven. You don't have that power. Only nature gives and takes away things, and nature never forgets the actions of creation and the system put in place. 18. So the victim does not have the power of forgiveness unless they are in their right pure mind as a neteru. And one cannot be in their right mind unless they know, accept, and overstand Wunuwapu. And a mortal has accepted Wunuwapu when they know Nuwapu and practice Wunuwapu. Nuwapu is a universal fact. 19. This is the true law of nature. When you look into the world of Ma'u, the felines or cats, you see many different ones: lions, cheetahs, leopards, panthers, tigers, lynx, and so on by the laws of nature. You will see them fight only among their own seed or race. Lion is a race of feline males and females. They will fight each other over food or sex. By that I mean the leader of the pack. But by the laws of nature, you will never see a lion and a panther fight to kill one another. Never see a tiger kill a cheetah, an Indian leopard. That is Mother Nature's unwritten law, and all creatures are to obey it. 20. As to the canine or the dog race, in the wild, they also respect that law. Not until man domesticated them as his pets or servants or weapons was his very nature altered. And now different species or subdivisions of dogs trained to fight and kill each other. This was the Canaanites who did this. You don't hear about it by any other race unless they have begun to live in the image of Canaanites. 21. The law of nature is set. No species are to enslave or kill or mix with other species of the same, such as the felines, the canines, the bovines, or the simians. You do not see baboons and gibbons or gorillas and chimpanzees and the many others. They never fight or kill. They will fight among their own race, but not others. This is the highest for of a civilized mind and order. Respect of nature's animals may see that another animal may have an advantage over them for whatever reason, like an elephant by its size, to reach food, or hippos being able to be on both land and water. But no other animal enslaves them to work for them or kills them because of it. That is against the law of nature, and all seem to know it and respect it. No other creature promotes vanity, conceit, beauty, or who looks the best. None of them. 22. So there is no need of a race or species to forgive another. 23. Now, when it comes to hominins or humans, if a person of a kind forgives another of its own kind, race, they are in fact forgiving themselves, because all mortals of the same race, that is, Negroids, is one, and Mongoloids is another, and Caucasoids, and there are many subspecies from these three mortals of the same race, are one flesh and blood by nature, an ancestral tree or origin, and justice or just us works by the seed, that is ancestral lineage. 24. Justice is words for words and deeds for deeds, not equal to the amount sown, but equal to the amount grown. 25. Not equal to the amount sown, but equal to the amount grown. This means the one who initiates an evil deed or action, a wrong, is an aggressor, whose wrongness and evils and wickedness will cause a chain reaction of evil acts and works and deeds. But the wrongdoer of the original wrong act is responsible for all the evils, wrongness, which result from the original wrong act. Therefore, the race who first sowed the violation of nature's system of respect and first sowed the first violation must reap the whole harvest according to the laws of nature. And life and justice, because that race is aggressor, as well as the transgressor, the weak and wicked one, the adversary of the natural laws of Ma'at. 26. However, all who are part of their race's chain reaction and all of its repeated wrongness are accomplices of the original aggressor and will meet the same fate as the original aggressor, their own bloodline, because they did nothing to stop or prevent the new aggressions, and will also suffer because they deliberately follow in the footsteps of the original aggressors, knowing that they are wrong and violating the laws of nature. 27. Since the time of Canaan, son of Ham, 6000 BCE, years ago, real justice was deferred, and therefore evils and wrongs have continued to pile up until those injustices have reached their end of 6,000 years in the year 2000 AD. And that peak will and has triggered Armageddon, or Armageddon, world war, as you see right now, the last war of the moon cycle, the war between right and wrong. Justice cannot be destroyed. Hence, it was only deferred by mercy and transferred by forgiveness temporarily for 6,000 years, 4004 BCE to 4 BC, up to 2004 AD. 28. If one iota of justice, cold, could be destroyed in the sense that iota exists no more, there would be no such things as wrong, ra'ah in Hebrew, and right, tov, evil and good, disagreeable and agreeable. 29. Armageddon started before the end of the moon cycle of 6,000 years and is still going on all over the world. The moon cycle ended in the year 2000 AD, which was 2004 AD, and the Bechenet, or the pylon or vortex, opened in the year 2003 AD. But the hangover will not be terminated until the end of Armageddon. 12 AD, at dawn on June 24, 2013 AD, St. John's Day. To baptize the planet as December 27th is St. John's Day, that John the Evangelist. The days may move over the years, winter and summer solstice. 30. Since the guilty race of Canaanites themselves have not accounted for their wrongnesses during their allotted 6,000-year rule, the end of the moon cycle brings in the sun, Rei cycle. The end of the predestined for their reward in the form of justice. The only way the moon cycle could exist in the first place was by mercy and forgiveness, meaning on the blood and suffering of the innocent and those with strong morals, because it was a cycle of weaknesses for the existence of the wicked race. The vast injustices done against the pure seed of Ptahites, the Negroid race, and others. And now the evil race are in wars of faith and belief. They cannot win. 31. Rest assured, those left alive will be the Africans, the innocent, and the roots of all races for the new cycle, the cycle of Re Har Echet, a cycle of liberty and equity. Those races who help the Caucasoid race in their evils, like the Indians, Arabs, some Asians, everyone who lived long enough to accept them in their moon cycle, did nothing to stop this wrong against Africans. 32. The evil six ether forces of ghosts and spirits possess other races that cause them to ignore the sins of the Caucasoids against Africans. In Africa and world over, this possession of evil spirits made it seem okay for all other races to hate and mistreat Africans. Their real parents, the first beings on earth, has now been proven to have come from Africa and spread over the world. 33. If all others don't repent, the evil one will destroy their lives, religions, cultures, lands as he fades away. He will try and take them all with him. 34. Africans have never crossed the race line of nature. There is no record of Africans coming to other races, lands to steal, rape, kill other races. Never, never. It's not found. We have only tried to defend our own land and wealth. 35. The innocent are those persons and the offspring of those persons who did not knowingly cross a race line and violate the law of nature. For all creatures respect, intentionally do something wrong to Africans or other races because they were of another race. Racial hatred to foregoing knowledge and universal law point out how important a race line is. 36. Universal and spiritual innocence or guilt is determined by the race line. If a person of one race does harm to a person of another race because of the color of their skin, the texture of their hair, the color of their eyes, or the culture, the justice in nature, universal law, requires it. It was an innocent act if they don't know any better, or is out of their own mind and acting on the part of others. 37. Now also know that among the guilty are those persons of African roots, our race, enslaved or free in their minds, Negroes, who knowingly and deliberately worked and still work for the Caucasoid race against their own race for a price, to sell out your own race, to please another race, or to marry in with them and hope to be accepted or act like them, or join in their evils, put on uniforms and kill for them, life for them, steal for them, or for nothing, to just please and help them, speaking bad of your own race for them. 38. That is the loss of your soul, and you receive their judgment with them. 39. When a person knows and understands this, if the punishment for wrongness they miss their transgress, the punishment will eventually fall upon the transgressors and those that submit to and serve them and their own children or the transgressors' own kind, their race. That people who knowingly transgress now would be very careful in the future to follow the way of Nuwapu. Their own race protect them. That's right knowledge, right wisdom, and the right overstanding to the best of their ability and outformation. If that people are sensible and intelligent because no sane father or mother wants their son or daughter to suffer the punishments for what the mother or father did. 40. The very same holds true for the races, and it's clear now to all others that the Caucasian races felt and still feel that it was all right to cross the race line, violate the universal law of nature, and do whatever they desired to Negroid or African race and some others who won't worship or submit to them. 41. And they feel nothing would ever come of their mistreatments, just so long as they did not do that to his own race, and that changed from one Caucasian race to sub-nations. They now abuse their own, who are not rich, but an act of wrongness is still an evil deed, whether one does it to other races or their own race, and the process of justice is the same. However, when one race crosses the race line to aggress and transgress against another race because it is another race, the law of nature and justice are stricter and more drastic in final punishment, because people of different races are not the same flesh and blood. Therefore, when a Caucasian Canaanite does harm to a Negroid African, they have violated the code of the races as well as the code of the rightness. These codes are defined and explained in this science, Nuwapu. It suffices here to state that code of the races is a strict and drastic system of law by nature, and now you watch they pay by much punishment as others turn on them, because they see how very evil they really are. And that concludes the Shadows reading.